following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
Welcome back to Unsupervised, the Spinoff. This week, your friendly neighborhood hosts give a brief Rona update. Cases are rising, so y'all be safe out there. In our wacky stat of the week, drunk drivers drive drunk many times before actually being caught drunk driving. In petty party politics, the president dude has his pettiest move to date. And in our main topic, what things about this movement are surprising, disappointing, and what do we expect to happen next? Stand up for this one. You may have to protect your neck. Now enjoy the show. Wait a minute. This thing on? Is we here?
Is this thing on?
I feel like this thing on. Hey, bro, I think we in the building.
I think we in the building.
Hold up, so we recording.
It's official. We in the building.
Hey,
We back?
y'all already know what I'm gonna say then. Let's get it then. Welcome back, everybody. Listeners, we in the building. Unsupervised, the Spinoff podcast, powered on the Defy Life Podcast Network. This is episode 19, y'all. Hey, man, if you're new to this thing, welcome. We appreciate you. If you've been here before, welcome back. Welcome back. Yo, man, it's your boy M. Dot. It's 2 for Tuesdays, except it's nowhere near Tuesday. I'm here with my brothers, man. West Coast Jay, Hollywood Paul. What they do?
Hey man, you know me, bro. I'm just chilling. Can't call it, man. Ducking and dodging the Rona, or whatever they said was the Rona. Making sure my rights aren't infringed on. But other than that, I can't call it, man. I'm excited to be here.
No doubt, man. Welcome back this week. Welcome back, man. It's been a nice little few days since our last show, and we here, man. We're gonna bring it to y'all, man. Welcome back, West Coast Jay. How you doing, man? Tell everybody hello.
Take a pic from a page from Oz from Taking It from Marvel vs. DC. What is up, good people? Man, ducking, dodging the Rona, sneaking and dipping around all of the systemic racisms. It's been an interesting week.
It has been an interesting week, man. About the same for me, man. Rona's out here, hot and heavy, spiking cases, and I'm really, really, really enjoying myself watching what's going on with this movement. We're going to get into that in a minute. Right now, I just want to shout out a couple of things. I want to shout out GoDefyLife.com. That is our place where the media content, where we house the Defy Life written content. Check that out. DefyLifePods.com is the home of the Defy Life Podcast Network. Check out our whole suite of amazing shows. Got a lot of hosts, a lot of personalities, a lot of talent here, man, trying to do it for you, bring you fire content. And DefyLifeGear.com. This houses our Defy Life branded apparel. Go out there and check us out. Speaking of DefyLifeGear.com, hey, boy, we dropped a new Defy Life Blackout series featuring shirts that say "I can't breathe," Black Lives Matter, and Stand With Us. And I have ordered. I can't wait for my shirts to get here. Go check them out, man. They out there, DefyLifeGear.com. Either one of y'all brothers been able to check them out? Pick you up a shirt yet?
No, not yet, man. I plan on getting me one soon, though. Definitely want to get one soon.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet either. I'm looking at them, though. They fly. Also, the Unsupervised t-shirts is up there as well. Nice red,
awesome.
white, and we got a nice little white one, a nice little blue one. They pretty fly looking.
No doubt. You get out there and check them out, man. Get out there and check them out. We just dropped them on Sunday of this week, so go check them out. We would love to see everybody adorning that "I Can't Breathe" or "Stand With Us" shirt, man. Go out there and check them out. Also, the home of our Patreons, patreon.com slash rather go Defy Life. Go check that out and become a patron of Defy Life. Everybody always asks, what's the best way to support the network? You can help us continue to grow, support what we do in the community, host events, and allow us to continue to bring you fire content. Man, we really trying to do the network is growing. We can't do what we do without you guys, so we definitely appreciate it. We definitely thank you. West Coast Jay, where else can they find us?
Now you already know you can find us on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and just about everywhere else you like to get your podcast needs met. You can also email us at unsupervised@godefylife.com, and feel free to send any messages that you have if you agree, disagree, just want to say hi. Damn it, we'll take all them shits.
No doubt, no doubt. And Hollywood Paul, man, do me a favor. Our social media been riding this past couple weeks. Let them know where they can find that.
Yeah, man. If y'all been on Facebook, just go ahead and type in Unsupervised Spinoff Podcast, or go to facebook.com/unsupervised Spinoff Podcast. And there you can see some of the latest posts that we got going on. And please like, comment, and share, because we're still running that free hotel night stay giveaway on us, the brothers here at Unsupervised, as soon as we get through whatever the hell we can call this right now. But yeah, man, it's a Unsupervised Spinoff Podcast on Facebook, y'all. We got a bunch of great stuff going on, great posts, great pictures, a lot of social media, some hot topics going on. Get you guys weighing on some of that. It'd be real dope, man. Get some of y'all feedback.
No doubt, no doubt. Go out there, man. Share, like us, love us, comment, ask questions, all of that. And we're back for episode 19. And I must say, episode 18 was a banger. Episode 18 was a banger. Really enjoyed that show. I listened to it several times. So listeners, go back and check it out if this is your first time. Well, episode 19, episode 18 is definitely amazing. Highly recommend it. We're going to jump right into it, man, with episode 19, though. We done had a busy week, y'all. We done had a busy week. West Coast Jay, let them know how your week was.
Busy is a good way to describe it, you know? Still talking to people. Homegirl had a little cookout type thing, so it was a few of us over there, and it was interesting to be able to have the conversations that have been the hard conversations for the past couple of weeks with somebody 20 years older than me and somebody 20 years younger than me. So the three different sets of generations, listening to what the young man had to say, listening to what the older man had to say, listening, really, is how I spent my time there. So, yeah, that was awesome.
No doubt, no doubt. Hollywood Paul, man, how was your week?
My week's been good, man. I've just been chilling and working, you know what I'm saying? Just staying out of trouble, laying low, making money. Other than that, man, you know, just trying not to be enraged every time I get online and talk to people.
That's a thing that's happening, huh?
Yeah, man. It's just I try not to get caught up into the emotional side too much and be objective, and just be happy that open dialogue is happening. Some of the dialogue is not that I guess the highest frequency, I should say, but it is happening nonetheless. Just
So
gotta
it's
not
not
be enraged
productive?
by it, because people be saying some stupid shit.
This is also true. Like, luckily, most of the conversations I've been having have been with people who are, at the very least, willing to listen, and willing to express how they actually feel. Most of the time, though, you know, there's also people who have legitimately chosen sides, one side or the other, and they're not listening to anything. So there's also that.
Well, while all this is going on, underneath, so it's been amazing that the top story in the news has been this black movement. This I don't know how to describe it. It's been I think it's been a watershed moment. Like people protesting against systemic racism and police brutality in the black community is and this is beautiful. This is beautiful. But
Yeah.
that's so crazy that it's pushed that this thing has pushed a worldwide pandemic to the back burner. I mean, guys, literally for months, all we talked about was COVID. Like literally, it was like big letters across every like, and now it's not. But we have to do our due diligence and remind people that y'all, COVID is still out here. We are at 2.6 million confirmed cases in the United States. Although we do have 619,000 people recovered, we still have 115,000 deaths. States are starting to say we may be headed for a second wave, or they were saying when it gets warm, like the cases should go down and things. Well, it's actually hot as fuck. It's been like 90 plus for days straight, and cases are not relenting. They're going up exponentially, especially in states that are open or have been open. Some of the earlier states that opened up. So do your due diligence, wear your mask, keep your hands, keep your body as clean as you can. This thing is still out here. So whether you're out here protesting, whether you're out here rallying, dallying for Confederate flags, whatever you're doing, make sure you are protecting yourself because the COVID is still out here. West Coast, what are your thoughts on that?
I was just about to say, you got to continue ducking and dodging the Rona. She is still out alive and well. Mother Nature trying to play us on one side. The CDC and the WHO recently have been backtracking on things that they said initially and changing statements days later, and it's confusing is what it is right now. The people are out there that are protesting. Most of them are being they're masked up, they're maintaining what they can, but the social distancing thing, that obviously is not happening. In order to stand in protest, they're standing in mass, in great numbers. And they're just not necessarily maintaining the 6 feet. So, I like money when I went and finally ordered a ridiculous mask. It should get here. I'm looking forward to it. Got this cool little samurai design on it.
No doubt.
So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that,
I can't wait to see you take a picture. And other than that, what?
I was about to say, other than that, the Rona's still out there, y'all. Everything you said is correct. All of the states that opened early have seen significant increases. Like even North Carolina, where we are, the numbers after phase 2 was opened up and they started letting people go, getting a little bit more rope with the leash, a little bit more, length. The numbers jumped up real quick.
Right.
So be diligent, wash your hands. We already learned most of y'all don't wash your hands good.
Right.
No doubt. Hollywood Paul, man, give us some thoughts, man. What's going on with the Rona out your way?
Ain't nobody giving a fuck about no Rona out my way. What Rona? Only difference is motherfuckers ain't gotta go into their office and work. Okay? Motherfuckers are moving, doing shit, out and about. You name it, it's going on, man. Like it's business as usual, baby. Ain't nothing changed, man.
No doubt. Hey, man, it's out here, man. We just gotta, just do your due diligence, man. Be safe. protect your family, protect your friends, protect your loved ones. And we didn't have too much on the Rona, man, because we got other fish to fry. Got other fish to fry. So I guess we're gonna get right into it, man. Because I think the back end of the show is gonna be more heavy, like more heavy hitting, and so we're gonna get into that because I'm sure we're gonna have a lot to say. So let's see, where are we at? Did y'all get to see? So real quick, I know it's not in the agenda, but real quick. We talked about it every couple of weeks. We talk about it. Prospects for college football and the NFL football. I know the last time we met, we were saying that it was kind of too early to tell. A couple weeks have passed since then. Hollywood Paul, man, what are your thoughts on college football, professional football? What are we looking like?
I don't know, man. They just announced the NBA is going down to Orlando coming up here soon. So. I mean, that's a thing. As far as college, man, I don't know. I don't know what we're looking like, man. They should get back to normal, man. I mean, as far as letting the fans and everything in, I think they're going to try to go at it without any fans at first. But should be business as usual as far as the aspect of playing and the games go.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I saw something about like a couple Alabama students. So students are back on campus for practice.
Yeah.
And I saw stuff about students testing positive, even though they've been isolated, and a couple coaches, and so I don't know what they do. I really don't know what they do. West Coast Jay, what are your thoughts?
Man, they just let them back, so they gotta see. Is the honest answer. So if everybody's back on campus, or if the teams are back on campus, then they just sort of got to let it play itself out. You got to give them the requisite 2 weeks to see how long it actually takes, or if it actually takes, or if they're all safe, or if everything is kosher, if they're social distancing in practice, which doesn't make sense for a contact sport.
At all.
You know what I mean? Like weight rooms, like what are they doing in there? Are going in shifts?
Right.
So, I don't know. Like this is a legitimate wait and see situation. I think the NBA kind of has a better idea because again, their stadiums and their teams and their rosters and their staffs are so much smaller. It's a little easier to control.
Right.
But football, man, look at it, 72 dudes that just play, not counting coaches, not counting trainers, not counting everybody else.
So, as in Hollywood Paul mentioned the NBA. So, are you guys okay with watching basketball in like the fall?
Absolutely,
I am. That's when basketball season normally starts up anyway.
Well, I mean, like, right. Well, in the late fall. But are you guys okay with watching in like July?
Yep. There's nothing else going on.
Well, what is
literally nothing else?
Like, what do we get? NASCAR? They just got rid of the Confederate flag.
They just got rid of the losers.
Like 2-3 days ago. You know? I read, I forget what comedian posted it, but it said, this would be great if this was 1890.
Right. Well, we're gonna get into that. Well, I guess we'll see what happens, man. I don't want the NBA trying to play in like at the start of the college football season or the NFL season. Normally, the NBA kind of kicks off. So that's the weird thing. If they push if they start playing in July or August, when there's normally their off season, like when are they gonna have a draft? When are they gonna? I'm just unclear on what they're gonna do. Are they gonna push the start of the 2020 season back for completing the 2019 season, I think there's just a lot of questions that still have to be answered in terms of what the conclusion of the 2019-2020 season looks like.
Like, as of right now, the way that they're scheduled, they should be playing until early to mid-September. That's when we should get the finals.
Yep.
Yeah, and see, normally they'd be just starting in September. They're just starting, they're just in training camp or wrapping up training camp. Right now, honestly, should be almost the start of summer league.
But again, we are in an unprecedented year. So they're doing what they can. They're just trying to get it so that there was a finish to this season.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to end before they start worrying about beginning again.
Yeah, I'm almost willing to say just, if it's going to be that close to the typical start of the 2020 season, I'm almost just willing to say just, or I think what they're doing is just bringing back playoffs. I don't know if they're going to have a conclusion to the season. I think
the season is done. They're going down to Orlando for a tournament to decide who's the champion.
Right.
That's what they're saying. This may be an asterisk on whoever wins the championship's record because they didn't actually get to see the last standing of the season, blah, blah, blah. But we pretty much know who had the better record when things shut down and who was tracking and beating everybody's ass. So we know who needs to be there to actually, fight for the playoffs and try to win a championship.
So
right,
22 teams, and these guys haven't played in months, not on a competitive level.
But I even like the fact that there's 22 teams so that they can let the 8 seed, which would have been up in the air till the end of the season, out west at least, they can let them figure out all the people that were in the running and figure out who's the actual 8 seed before they start the tourney.
Right.
I like that. I'm just saying I worry about the timing of it, and I worry that after you've had players take this much time off, I worry about things like injuries and.
Man, them players they gave a lot of the NBA teams converted a lot of their players' homes, gave them all individual workout rooms, and they're supposedly still in good shape.
I mean, they're always in good shape because they're professional athletes, but there's not. I mean, dude, you balled. Dude, the last game they played was in March. It's dead in July. So if you I don't care how much shape you stay in, there's a difference between being in shape and then getting out there and playing 38, 39 minutes of an NBA game.
Well, that's what this little tournament is supposed to do, man. Get them back get their legs back under them, and help them get back right.
Yeah, normally it takes about 14 to 15 games into the season for these guys to really get their legs up under them, get their game. That's what they call a mid-season form. So
right.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Y'all ready for a quick wacky stat of the week?
Oh yeah.
Wacky stat of the week, man. This is crazy. But I couldn't. I know last week we had a pretty quick wacky stat of the week. This is also going to be a quick one. But it's not really tied into the theme of what we're talking about. However, I wanted to bring it up. So it's the check this out. In America, the average drunk driver drives drunk or under the influence more than 80 times before they're actually caught for drunk driving by the authorities.
I can believe it.
That's a lot of times. West Coast, you ever had I don't know. West Coast, you ever had a little sticky situation where you might have been a little too tipsy?
Yeah. I absolutely
Did you try to make it home?
Oh, of course.
No doubt. No, did you get pulled over?
At least once.
True. Hollywood Paul, what about you?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been at a stoplight trying to take a nap. That's how fucked up I was. Like I tried to nap on red. I've been in the car snapping myself and realized that my driver was napping on red and had to be like, okay, I'm the least fucked up. Get out, I'm driving. We can't be both sleep at the light. So yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's, that was my younger days, I will admit.
Agreed.
What's more scary? Is it you being super slam driving, or you being in the car with somebody else that's super slam driving, and maybe you're not as drunk as they are, and you realize, oh, this motherfucker's done.
Honestly, it depends on the driver.
Yeah. I only trust myself driving, so.
Agreed.
If it's someone else, I'm gonna be freaked out. Like, maybe I need to sober up a little bit. Maybe I need to take the reins.
Yeah.
Now,
if it's me and one other person, then 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna take the wheel.
Right. But lo and behold, I've actually as often as many times I've been pulled over by the cops, I've never been drunk as often as
I never got caught.
So I definitely can believe that stat. Because I guess you just always think you can make it home, and I know that's and of course that was younger, because now you can just listeners, let me preface that with, now I Uber my ass home and then go back and get my car.
Yep.
These days, but that's 2020. Back
right.
in 2006,
2012 on the other hand,
back in 2008 and shit.
Right, motherfucker thought I could make it. It is what it is.
A brother might take a risk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
These days with Lyft and Uber, no, there's no need for it.
Yeah, these days there's no need for it. If you're that smashed, just get a Lyft or Uber home.
Stay where the hell you at.
Or stay where you at. Find somebody close, find a friend close, Uber to them, crash with them. But it's too much stuff out here these days that can get you home safely than for you to jump in your whip, super smash, and then try to make it home. So hopefully a lot of those numbers will come down with some of the modern services that we have today. So we'll just it's just something interesting that we like to keep an eye on.
Shit, I've been with drunk Lyft drivers before.
Huh?
Shit, I've been in the car with drunk Lyft drivers before. I got in
right.
I'm gonna wait for the next one.
Like, dude, how you drunk?
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wait for the next one. Or I done been in the car with somebody that going to a bar and had them be like, I'm about to come in and have a drink with you. Like, all right. Then that motherfucker after a beer or two be like, all right, I'm about to go back out on the road. Like, all right.
No doubt, I got you. Let's get it.
Oh,
man. Well, now we about to get into the heavy shit. But before we get into the heavy shit, we got some bills to pay. West Coast, man. Pay some bills for us, man.
You already know. Y'all stay tuned.
We're told that greatness is exceptional when it should be expected. You choose every day to live your life intentionally, without apology for how bright your light may shine. So go be great. Go be brilliant. Go be you. Go defy life. The Defy Life movement is one that speaks to each of us in its own way. Defy Life Gear speaks to us all by reminding us that one size does not fit all. Visit defylifegear.com to get fitted for greatness.
Welcome back to episode 19 of Unsupervised, the Spinoff. Y'all make sure to check out the Defy Life Gear page. Like Money said earlier, we got some fly shit out there. The blackout stuff is fly. The unsupervised stuff is fly. Get that shit.
No doubt. Appreciate that. The whole network shit is fly, man. Oh, definitely. I agree, man. I agree. I can't wait for my blackout shit to come. I'm gonna be posting all these pictures. Oh, I'm gonna put something on that unsupervised page. You know, y'all can check your boy out. I might be black all the way out, dressed in all black like the Omen. How your friends singing? This is for my homie.
This
now
is
you know
for
me.
My homie.
I might be out there like that, man. Welcome back, man. Episode 19, Unsupervised Spinoff Podcast, powered by the Follow Podcast Network. We are back. We left off talking about some wacky stat of the week, and now we're going to get into our segment, The Petty Party Politics. Did y'all check out the president dude this week?
Not the president dude.
The dude.
Yo.
The fucking dude.
The president
fucking dude, man.
So I thought we had a really, really interesting discussion last week about the president dude and his response to the current protests that are running in all 50 states in the United States of America and also across the world. I thought that he'd come out and said, you know, we need to all come together. We're gonna have some unity shit going on. I really thought he could have really helped himself.
He certainly
But that's
could
not
have.
what this dude did.
It certainly is not.
This week, he is doubling down. There's been a recent I'll say push. There's been a recent push, a recent effort to rid the country and the South of monuments and Confederate flags and monuments that represent hate to many people, that represent treason to many people. Confederate generals and leaders, and those statues or monuments are being removed or protested to be removed all across the country. The state of Virginia, bravo. Richmond removed the Confederate General Robert E. Lee from the big park, downtown park in Richmond, Virginia, which is, I didn't think I'd ever live to see that happen. Knowing what Robert E. Lee means to the state of Virginia, the people of Virginia, whether they're wrong in what he means to them or not, I would be remiss to not recognize that he does mean the world to those people that revere him. Having said that, the president, the Pentagon, unveiled a plan to begin to remove the names of Confederate generals from military bases and forts and things across the United States military.
As it always should have been, because they fucking lost.
Which always should have been, because they fucking lost. But nonetheless, they've got their names are speckled throughout the military of ships and things of that nature. And the president dude doesn't want that to happen. And
you
the
sound
biggest
surprised.
Well, hold on. I'll turn it over to you guys in a minute. And then the biggest and most pettiest move that I think I've seen yet. The Trump campaign is reopening on the campaign trail. Big news. Trump hasn't had a campaign style rally in months. Well, he's decided to have his very first campaign rally in the light of the background that we just described in Tulsa, Oklahoma on June 19th. To me, that's the pettiest move of all.
Well, I feel like we should probably explain why.
Well, what's Coach Jay? Let the people know what's up with let the people know what's up with that. First of all, well, I'll say this: June 19th is the day that slaves were granted their freedom. It's what we call our Independence Day. it's a significant date in Black history, and not just Black history, but American history. Because after we were given our freedom, we also started to pick up rifles. Well, after we were emancipated, we also started to pick up rifles and fight for the Union Army. Quick tidbit in history: it was a Black regiment, a newly minted Black regiment, that saved Grant's army when he was besieging Vicksburg. The Confederate army that came to reinforce them was actually beaten back by a newly minted Black regiment, and they lost more than half their troops to defend Grant while he came to reinforce them. It was in the Western campaign. It was the Black people's first action. And naturally, when the Southerners saw that it was actually a Black unit, a Black regiment they were fighting against, needless to say how they felt and what they wanted to do to them. Just a little quick tidbit of history, in case you didn't know. But having said that, West Coast, what is the significance of this? What does this mean to you? What should this mean to our listeners?
A couple of things. On top of June 19th, 1865, which again is more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, that was the day that the last slaves were told that they were free. So we affectionately call it Juneteenth, and that's why it's considered the actual Black Independence Day. Now, the city of Tulsa, from May 31st to June 1st, 1921, there was a massacre where organized groups of white mobs attacked the Black residents and the businesses of the Greenwood District in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
AKA Black Wall Street.
AKA Black Wall Street. Now, historians have called it the single worst incident of racial violence in American history. This was exactly 99 years ago. And in light of what's going on in the world today, in the current climate of race relations in particular, the president chose the site of the worst incident of racial violence in American history on the day that is considered Black Independence Day to hold his first riot. Oh, I'm sorry. To hold his first rally. Pardon me, Freudian slip.
That might be poetic justice.
Freudian slip. You heard how it happened. So, tone deaf is one word that's not nearly harsh enough to describe how ridiculous this move is. You could have chosen anywhere else. You could have chosen any other date. But, again, as we said last week, he is right back to making sure we know who he is for real.
And let me just because you can't. First of all, if you watch the show Watchmen on HBO, they do a really good job. Like the season 1, episodes 1, the first 10 minutes of the show actually recounts this event. It actually because us just saying it, I'm not sure if you really get it. If you were Black and you lived in Tulsa at this time, you were basically killed,
or run out, or injured, or you had to sneak out because they were murdering everything that moved. If you try to play dead, they would shoot you twice just to make sure you were dead.
Just to make sure you were dead. And let me just run through. They bombed. They didn't just destroy. They bombed the town. They bombed the city. They set everything on fire. It was like scorched earth. What
And
they didn't
before anyone
bomb.
says it, police were involved in the bombing of the black people as well.
Oh, absolutely. You couldn't, if you were black, you couldn't call the police. You couldn't call the firemen. You couldn't call the doctor because they were fucking involved. They were in it. They were double tapping motherfuckers in the head too. Hundreds, if not thousands of people were men, women, and children. They did not give a fuck. Were killed, burned alive, dropped bombs on, all torture. It was 21 restaurants, 21 churches, the school system, law offices, 30 grocery stores, the post office, the bus system, 2 movie theaters, the airport, the hospital, the bank. The list goes, homes, livelihoods, farms, livestock. They burnt it all to the fucking ground. They slaughtered everybody.
At least 800 injured. At least. They don't know the exact number.
They don't even know the exact number. They didn't even recognize this as an event until 1996. So when people want to talk about oh, you should be able to pull yourself up by the bootstraps. There hasn't been slavery in all these years. When you do shit and you can't even recognize it until 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Well, I guess 1996 was 25 years ago, but still, like, no. What's my math? 2006, that was 10 years. 2016, 20 years. Okay, 25 years ago. Okay, cool. We'll go with that. So,
like I said, man, tone deaf.
Is this? I don't think this is tone deaf, West Coast. I don't think this is tone deaf at all. Tone deaf would be, oh, I didn't really know about that. Really? Like, ooh.
So what we're saying is it's blatant disregard.
This is fucking blatant disregard. It is intentional. It is a swipe in the face of history. It is a fuck you to the black culture in this country. And that is my personal opinion. They have AIDS on top of AIDS on top of AIDS that know this shit. Even if Donald Trump himself is too stupid to fucking understand that this is a thing. And keep in mind, this is on the heels of him resisting. No, keep the Confederate statues up. No, keep the Confederate flag up. No, keep the Confederate name on the bases. This is blatant. This is known, it is intentional, and it is beyond indefensible. Hollywood Paul, man, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, I think that his aides, as you mentioned, I think that his people in his administration, I think everybody agreed with the sentiment. I do not believe Donald Trump is a man of the people, for the people, whether it's for white people or black people or anyone. I think he's a man for himself. And I also believe that being a man for himself, he knows who to pander to. And pandering to those people, I believe, comes second nature to him because on our previous shows, I've already suggested or hinted at the fact that he has the same ideals or holds the same ideals as his father, based on some of the things that he's said, the things he's done, the campaign he's run on. Am I shocked that this is happening? No. What I would want to happen is that fucking rally to be protested heavily. To the point where he just has to leave because it's too dangerous for him to be there. So that the world knows, even from the commander-in-chief, we're not putting up with this shit. I mean, it's disrespectful. I can go on and on and on about how disrespectful it is, but we already covered that. Now we need to go into action. There needs to be, if he plans on having a rally there, there might need to be a riot. You plan on getting up there and giving some bullshit speech in that city on that day, in spite of what's going on in our community as a whole? There needs to be some people out there shouting right back at his ass. No one needs to be out there standing around like sheep just listening.
Well, he was at some summit today, and I already know what he's going to say. He's going to say the fourth. He's got 4 things to say about black people. The first one is your unemployment is the lowest it's been, and blah blah blah. What he said 4 things today. He said something about putting forth some sort of plan to put money into where they know some of the inequalities lie, and a couple other things. I'd have to go back and look, but I was very interested to see. So he had like the 2 black people in his administration, in his whole entire administration, he had on the panel with him. So basically, it's like he heard the show from last week, because he knows he fucked up. Like, he knows that, like, the tide of this thing is going to be too big for his bullshit. So he knows he's got to pander to not necessarily black folks, but to the white folks that are supporting the black folks, if that makes sense. But here's what we have to do. I'm gonna actually post this to my Facebook page later this evening, but this Juneteenth, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Hollywood Paul. This June, I'm not saying he doesn't feel, we don't want him to feel safe to be there, type of deal.
Well, that's what they're gonna say. Yeah, the Secret Service will pull him if there's a fucking big ass protest going on. The president wouldn't stay in his ground and keep addressing the people.
Well, his rally will be closed to only his supporters. They know who supports him. There's hardly ever any black people at these rallies at all anyway. So here's what I would like. I would like for black people to make this Juneteenth be the blackest black that ever blacked. Like, we gotta I don't know if we protest. I don't know if we got to do it big. What day is that? What day is June? It's next Friday. I may take that day off. So I can do more protesting and more marching and help Juneteenth be the blackest black that ever blacked. Because that's what I'm on. Petty. When I talk about this is beyond petty, this is hateful. What's Coach J, man?
Yeah, beyond petty, hateful is a great way to phrase it. I said it's an ultimate slap in the face of everybody protesting what they're protesting, why they're protesting. It is an ultimate 2 middle fingers as high as he can put them. He's like, in case you didn't notice, he's doing them as hard as he's ever done them in his life. The middle fingers that are coming up at the black community right now.
Like, you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth out of this issue, Mr. President. You can't say on one hand, dominate. You got to dominate them, because that's what the cops try to do to us anyway, right? They try to dominate us, and then we end up dead. And then on the other side of your mouth, you can't say, yeah, we need to help you with this problem. You have to pick a side. You have to let people know where you stand with this matter. You can't say, yeah, we're going to fight for equality, and then tell the heritage and history community, quote unquote, yeah, we want to keep your Confederate flags and your Confederate statues up. I don't think that's a thing you can do at the same time. Because those are symbols of hate. Those are symbols that those communities use to depict hate and fear into a whole community.
So the president's press secretary, President Dude's press secretary says, quote, look, President Trump is... The African American community is very near and dear to his heart. She then continues to claim that he uses his rallies to showcase the great work he's done for minority communities. So it's a meaningful day to him. And it's a day where he wants to share some of the progress that has been made as we look forward at more that needs to be done, especially as we're looking at this police reform. That is the president's press secretary's words. So the level of complicit compliance that are going on inside, I don't know if these are people that just want to keep their jobs or don't want to be on the, I don't know what these people are, but the lack of empathy, the lack of heart, the lack of humanity, the lack of just being anything other than an asshole. It's astounding.
I'm at this point. At this point, I'm done. At this point, I'm done with him. I can't. This is the insult that rises above all insults.
And in 21 weeks, we will be able to get the president dude the fuck out.
11 million people have registered to vote. Hopefully, millions more register to vote. This has got to end. This has got to end. Y'all ready for our main topic?
Oh yeah.
It's really more the same, but hopefully it won't make me as pissed off. In this worldwide movement, my friends, what has been some of your biggest surprises so far with the movement? What would you like to see still yet to happen? Anything you're disappointed in? West Coast Jay, I'll start with you.
Disappointments, I'm going to start there. I'm disappointed in the dude. I'm disappointed in the president dude. Like, the president dude, even though we knew who he was, even to play politics, all he would have had to do was call for unity. All he would have had to do was not do some disrespectful shit like, I'm going to hold a rally in Tulsa on Juneteenth. Whether or not he believes fuck black people or not. Whether or not anybody in his staff believes fuck black people, which at this point, it's an actions speak louder than words situation. Like, clearly.
So let me ask you a quick question before you move on, related to just that. If he comes out in this rally and he says, let's have unity, what are your thoughts going to be then?
If it's too little too late for me at this point. He should have come out last week with the unity message. He should have came out on Memorial Day with the unity message. Like, he should have came out as soon as his motherfuckers found out about it with the unity message. But now, if he's going to try and use this day in that setting, in that particular city, to preach unity, he chose wrong. That's just a bad set.
Because, you know, his supporters are going to say, you said he should be talking about unity, and he did that in Tulsa.
And his supporters are, like I said earlier, there's literally two sides to this. Like, you got the people that are blissfully ignorant, but most of them have come to the side of trying to, at the very least, become more cognizant of what they are saying and doing, and trying to go out of their way to, quote unquote, not be racist. But then it is also galvanized the absolute other side, where these who were already overt or covert racists are holding that position, fortifying that position, and trying to circle their wagons around the president dude. So regardless of what his supporters say at this point, they are with him. It is, at this point, there's nothing we can do about that. His actual hardcore fans and supporters, they are just with dude. He could do no wrong. He is their messiah at this point.
No doubt.
So, with that, that's also along the lines of the thing that surprises me the most. One of on a more positive note, one of the things that surprises me the most has been people's willingness to educate themselves or to be educated about. I have learned more shit in the past couple of weeks, Black history related, law related, just whatever. I've learned more random shit from people that were not ever paying attention. They didn't care until this happened. Until right. George Floyd until that day, they were like, yo, I didn't know. And that was what made last week so exhausting, was trying to get people to understand.
Shout out George Floyd, by the way. Sleep in peace, brother. Shout
out George Floyd. Shout out Breonna Taylor as well.
Yeah, shout out Breonna Taylor as well.
It was her birthday.
Yeah. Well, if we started shouting people out,
we'll be here for all day.
If we started shouting people out, man, we'll be here till next Tuesday.
Right. So, but the level of education, like I said, has been one of the more pleasant surprises. Is that people are now taking the 2.5 seconds it takes to actually Google the information.
Right.
People are now, their talking points have started to change. Like from last week's talking points, mostly were, I'm not racist. I'm not, I don't consider myself racist. And now they've started to educate, started to learn about systemic racism, how these things were happening in the communities, how these things were, everything from all the stuff that you put in there's a great companion piece actually written by our own money on the Defy Life Network. Go to defylife.com, check it out, and it's called Dear America, I'm a Black Man. So everything from KKK to Jim Crow, everything from dirty water to the Tuskegee experiments, everything all the way through that's been horrible. Like, people are now, it's become more in vogue, for lack of a better way to say it, to learn about the actual atrocities that have happened to the Black community throughout this country's history. And I'm hearing it again from the oddest place, like people that I would have never expected to start throwing out quotes from, slave abolitionists, and people that started throwing out stats about systemic racism and what goes on in the education and the Black community. And I'm hearing all kinds of cool stuff from all kinds of people. Now, it could be that I'm just not talking to the other side at all, or I haven't encountered them to be able to have a conversation with them. You know what I mean?
I've been talking to them motherfuckers for 2 straight weeks.
Right.
You've been talking to the other side, the mugs that are circling the wagons around the president, dude.
Oh my God, we've been having a nice little war of words on social media for 2 weeks straight. I've been enjoying it. I must say.
And then I think the biggest surprise for me is the vocabulary. So, again, last week's narrative was, I'm not racist, for most of the people I was talking to. I'm not racist. But this week, what I'm finding that it's switching to is, well, I'm learning, I'm educating myself, and now I want to be more anti-racist. Like, I love the fact that word is now started to come into I almost believe that that's going to be the word of the year. Every year there's a word of the year. I think that's going to end up becoming the word of 2020 is anti-racist.
Okay.
Because there's a difference to being, for people that just, I'm not racist. Yeah, but are you against racism? And now more people are coming out and being legitimately against racism.
Well, first, I think more people are definitely educating themselves on what racism is. Instead of always deflecting or making excuses and justifications that are saying like, "Oh, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. I got this black friend," or "I love black people," or "I love Dr. Dre." You know, all that dumb shit. They're trying to defend the fact that they're not racist. They're actually open to understand that there is a systemic system that is based on racism, and you have been benefiting off of that obliviously. So now that you're taking accountability for that, now you can stop that trend. You can stop the expectation of willful ignorance of white privilege. Okay? Because if just because you feel like in your heart of hearts you're not racist, if you still participate and benefit off a systemic racist system, you are in fact a bigot. And you are an ignorant bigot. And you can control that because ignorance can be fixed. And I applaud you for trying to fix it. But I think that the conversation is gone to where a lot of people they're not just defending, like West Coast is saying, like, I'm not racist, I'm not racist. I understand there is a racist system, and I wanna learn more of how I can be anti that. Because I'm not racist. So I want to stand against racism. Now, and that's for the younger people. Of course, some of the older crowd have, they're like, well, I'm not racist, that's just how things are. So if you're not racist and that's just how things are, do you agree with them? If you don't agree, then stand against it. For all our older listeners.
It's exactly like the young lady said last week. Why do you think that's okay? That was the dopest question that I thought she hit her parents with. Why do you think that's okay? That's not okay.
Why is that okay with you?
Just because you keep saying that's how things are, do you find that okay? If you don't, then stand against it any chance you get. Because if it was you, you wouldn't want that to be happening to you, and you would want someone else like us to stand against it.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, but it's a hard pill, man. It's hard to say, don't give me this advantage, make it fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you got to even realize that you got the advantage, and a lot of people are oblivious to that. So hopefully the education keeps going.
Well, Hollywood Paul, since you're talking, man, why don't you chime in? What's your biggest surprise? What do you still want to see happen? What's your biggest disappointment?
My biggest surprise? My biggest surprise is that no one has shot that police officer that killed a man that just passed, Floyd. Mr. Floyd. I'm surprised no one shot him. Yeah, surprised. Very much.
Now, why are you surprised? Because I don't think black people are that violent. I don't think black people seek revenge like that.
I didn't say a black person had to shoot him though.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Meaning my conspiracy theory bug in me is where I am with things and how I see it. If there was a tipping point, it would be that man's life. As far as like cops versus protesters, I guess you could say. So I'm surprised at that. I am. Okay. Then I'm saying I'm surprised that like no one's been hired to kill him and been dressed up just like the rioters, quote unquote, or the looters are hired. We know these guys are not a part of this protest. We've seen the footage. We know what's going on. We know George Soros owns fucking Black Lives Matters and Antifa. We know the Clinton administration funds both of them. We understand what they're doing. Okay, we know the Clintons are on trial right now. We understand the distraction of what's going on with the media because George Soros had his hands in that. I'm surprised that man has not been shot. So, one of the things that I'm glad to see is white people who are realizing that there is a systemic racist system, lending their voice to it. They're saying they're standing up. They're like, it's a lot of places. There are literally places where there are one person protesting. And it's a white person, old, young, middle-aged, and they're just out there holding it the fuck down. And it might be 13 black people in their whole city, their whole town, but they're out there for them. And that shit's beautiful to me. And I'm so glad to see that. I applaud you all. Keep going. And what was your last question? I'm sorry.
What would you still like to see?
I would like to see laws passed that protect the African American community, period, point blank. I would like to see laws passed that change the operation of police officers. People argue about the timing of training for police. I disagree. If you can take an 18-year-old kid and train him to be a soldier and put him in war and he can follow rules of engagement, his training to a T. I mean, and even in those situations where they're literally left onto their own devices, where an 18-year-old would lead a squadron of 4 or 5 and can make life-changing decisions right then and there that are ethical, no matter who this person is. They're in a foreign land. Do you think they give a damn about this person that they came to speak English to that's going crazy and is considered, quote unquote, the enemy? No, but they still handle it with care. So I think there needs to be laws passed that prevent certain powers the police have. I think there needs to be laws passed that put the people, the everyday man, more so on a pedestal than a volunteer police force.
Right.
I believe that there needs to be laws like Obama passed laws that protect LGBT community people. There needs to be laws that heavily restrict racism. I want to see the KKK disbanded. I want to see the FBI, which the CIA handles things foreign. FBI handles things at home. I want to see the FBI launch a full-scale shutdown, eradicate, the seek and destroy of the KKK. I think that alone will light the fire that remedies our society of the consistency of replenishing and diverting of their systemic racist system. Because once we overcome one thing, it's like, oh wait, we missed this thing they slid in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Once we overcome, we fix this over here. They're like, oh, we got to come back over here because they've been practicing this because the law is written this way, or they just passed this thing over here. So we have to seek and destroy all who have that mindset. And the law, just like you can arrest someone if they are shouting and saying, I want to kill people, and they pull a knife and just prick themselves. They can be arrested, and you can be taken either to jail or a mental home, okay? Right here in North Carolina, I know that.
Right.
So there needs to be laws to where new trained officers with this new given curriculum of how to enforce said Constitution, there needs to be laws in place that can allow them to use discretion when going to make said arrest or enforcement of certain laws or giving citations to people that do practice racism that offend or break these laws that I want to see come about. But the swamp has to be drained, man. I mean, I want from this whole thing with this civil unrest with black people and systemic racism, I want it to blow the lid off of Pandora's box. I'm talking about everything, man. I want to see the fucking revolution happen, which won't be televised. But I'll probably be out there in it. Like, on Stratford Road, they were out there protesting here in my city. I got a fucking car.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm that
Right.
type. I'm going to join. I want to see
Me
that.
too. I'm out there.
Child molesters be taken to court. I want to see the people that are pulling the strings that are on Jeffrey Epstein's list getting pulled out, because these are the people that are not only perpetuating the systemic racist system because it profits them. It's not just because they hate black people at this point. It's because it's profiting them. Do you know how much money the news stations are making right now airing coverage of these protests?
We're in a boatload.
And it's not just about, they're not covering the protests, sir, because they're not showing how the black people are stopping the rioters. They're showing the rioters. They're showing the looters. And people are glued to it. And they're making billions in advertisement money. And where's that going? To the same people that fund the Black Lives Matter and the same people that fund Antifa. It's almost like you're creating a war, profiting off all the supplies, sending people to war. Then you own the insurance company that's going to rebuild the community that you destroy while you're at war. And you own the hospitals that's going to get all the medical bills for the people that's sick, that got injured in war or hurt. And that's what they're doing to us out here in our society right now. And they're using a lot of distractions for us. So I want to see a lot of things happen from this movement right now. Like a lot.
No doubt. Well, That's your take on it, man. I appreciate you sharing it. Let's see. I think so. A couple of things jumped out to me, and I'll probably do a companion piece about this as well. But there's just some thoughts that I have. This movement's brought about nationwide, worldwide Black Lives Matter movement, protests, and demonstrations. Global and national companies are being compelled to make their stance known publicly. Police officers are actually starting to be fired and in some cases charged with abuse of power, for instance, like the incident we saw in Buffalo. The NFL, Roger Goodell and his minions had to publicly come out and acknowledge its terrible views and mistreatment of peaceful protesters, kneeling in the flag, and their mistreatment of Colin Kaepernick.
So do you think they're going to give him a job?
Hold on. Let me finish.
All right.
People, just normal citizens, are being outed on all sorts of platforms, on social media, etc., for their racist comments, and they're being fired all over the country.
Like almost instantly, though.
Instantly.
Hundreds of millions of dollars are now being pledged by all kinds of companies in the advancements and research of systemic and minority issues. Legislation is now starting to be put on the drawing board to govern these matters better. We'll see what the House and the Senate can come up with. Confederate symbols and monuments are now on the table for being removed from public domains.
As a quick sidebar with regard to the Robert E. Lee statue that's in Virginia. So a judge has actually blocked that statue from being removed presently because there's a dude who lives there found a deed from 1890 that shows that it belongs to the city, and so he is protesting, or he's taking them to court so that they cannot remove it, so that the Virginia governor wants to remove it, the AG wants to remove it. A judge is like, well, that dude actually has a legal claim to it. So that's currently going on with the Robert E. Lee statue. Now, across the water, or around the water, rather, they toppled a Christopher Columbus statue, set it aflame, and threw it in the river. And again, another comedian came out and was like, well, I bet even his statue is claiming he discovered that river. Probably.
This is crazy out here. Since then, so equally, I think all of those things surprise me. I'm very surprised that, because it just seems like 2 weeks ago we were like, can we get some white folks to listen to us with this issue? Like, this is a serious matter. Like, they're gunning us down in the streets, they're murdering us on TV, and it's just like we couldn't really get anyone to. Well, now I don't want to say anyone, but we couldn't get the majority of people to listen. So all of a sudden, that shit shocks the fuck out of me. That all of a sudden, it's like that. America just woke the fuck up.
I wouldn't say America did, but I will say that a good bit of the youth that is on social media is allowing themselves to be affected by it currently. But as far as like completely awake, I'd have to disagree.
Yeah, I think it's like America is America as a whole. I mean, yeah, they were jolted awake with an alarm, but they hit the snooze button as a whole.
Right.
But the younger generation, like you said, the younger generation, the generation that can't vote yet, they are wide awake.
Oh, yeah. And the ones that are just barely legal to vote, they just got a flashbang into the door. And they're like, what the fuck? So, because they really don't know what's going on. They kind of do. Some of them know, yeah, I was sitting here dirty and selling weed, and I might have got followed here. You know, like everybody knows something about what's up, but now they're just trying to pay attention now. We got their attention is where I think we're at. And that's why things are happening as they are. Because, you know, like you said, people are getting fired left and right. That's the young people that are now able to vote, the 18 to 22-year-olds who are bombarding companies with all kinds of shit about the racists because they have nothing but time. School's not in.
Well, I'm actually a member of several of these groups, and it's all kinds of people, not just the youth. It's all kinds of people of all walks of life and all ages. That's what I'm saying. Like, I actually would disagree. I think the demographic, I think it's mostly people maybe our age and younger. But it's way more than just the teeny boppers, which is evident by because we saw the college kids and the hippies band together with the civil rights movement in the 60s. Like, we saw that happen.
Right.
But what we're seeing now, we've never seen before. We've never seen protests in 50 states and more than 400 cities in the country. That is, if you just Google the top population of the top 400 cities, you'd be in, I don't know, Des Moines, Iowa, or some shit. We've never seen this. So it's more than just the teeny boppers. So when I say America's woke up, that's what I mean. I mean, this is so unprecedented. Literally, NASCAR said we're not going to have the Confederate flag anymore.
Side note onto that, I love how the one driver who first quit NASCAR, when they reported it, they said this driver who never won a race, actually he did place 33 out of 48, has now decided to hang up his reins of driving in NASCAR because of the Confederate flag removal. Never won one thing, never affected this sport at all. So
did you see how NASCAR responded to him quitting?
I did not.
NASCAR actually tweeted a response to him quitting and said, "Dude, we didn't even know who you were. We had to Google you to figure out who you were. Good luck with those participation trophies," or something like that. And they kept it moving. It was like the illest SmackDown I've seen in 2020 so far.
It's like, what's so ironic about it is you're mad that they were removing the Confederate flag, so you're quitting NASCAR, and to look at your record shows you're the exact kind of person who would be careful, fucking loser.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, when I say America is woken up, I mean America's woken up. We've never heard the Pentagon talk about removing Confederate names from armed military bases. We've never seen them actually seriously consider taking down Confederate monuments before. I think there's more than 390 of them across the country or something like that. Okay, it might be more. We've never seen. We've had cops since like the year 1992 or some shit. 1988 or some shit. They just canceled cops. They canceled live PD for the hunting mentality that it gives police officers. Guess what they hunting? They hunting niggas. So when I say America's woken up, no, we've never had Walmart, Amazon, Wendy's, this company, that company, this brand, that brand say we're gonna give $100 million, $80 million, $50 million, $200 million to this cause. We've never seen that before. This is America waking up. It's not just the teeny boppers. You got to dig deep into what we're seeing. They have Black Lives Matters on 1800 Pennsylvania Avenue. Didn't they rename that shit to Black Lives Matter Avenue?
I think it's Black Lives Matter Square.
Or something like that. In Charlotte, now we got a big ass Black Lives Matter monument, or rather mural, from all artists across the city on Tryon Street. Right, Carolina Panthers have said they're removing Jerry Richardson's statue from in front of the stadium because he used a racial slur. This is not the teeny boppers. This is America, y'all. We couldn't do this without America.
Yeah, I hear where you're coming from. That makes a bunch of sense.
Now, granted, it's a whole lot of people out there they huffy, big mad. And those are the people that I'm arguing with on social media every day. I've been telling them, you are now fighting a losing battle. You might have been kicking my ass all the way up until 3 weeks ago. But as of right now, you are losing this battle. You are on the wrong side of history, sir.
Right now, people done got up off the floor like Hulk Hogan back in the day with the second slap. Hand up, shaking. Just, oh, here we go, brother.
Yeah, my tag team partner our tag team partner done finally decided to join this fight.
Straight up.
And so far, it's been fucking amazing. We see now. I will give you this because we have been saying this, but if white people didn't know that they had privilege and power, because we have economic power, but we don't have privilege and power. If white people didn't know that they had privilege and power, anything that we are pointing at right now, we as black people, that we point at and say, them, they saying them who, and then we saying go get them, and it is a wrap for it is a wrap for whoever we point at.
And it's funny because that's how it was at a certain day and age with white people and black. That's what happened to Emmett Till. He fucked up. There he goes. Go get him. And that's what they did. And now the reverse effect is happening. Except it's in their pockets. It's just they're not hanging people and beating them to death because we're civil.
Right.
Hey, brother. All I know is that's power.
It is.
That's power. I pointed at you and tell that motherfucker fetch. And whatever we point at, we are bringing them, whatever organization, whatever human being, whatever that is, we are bringing them to their knees immediately. Drew Brees, poor Drew Brees. Poor Drew Brees. Are we allowed to say poor Drew Brees?
No. Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shan said it best. You know, when he talked to Drew Brees, he said, you know, Drew, I respect you reaching out, but I know you reached out because I criticized you. And I criticize you in front of a huge audience, and that's why you're reaching out. Otherwise, you wouldn't have, because you willingly made those statements in spite of all that you did to the community where you currently reside and play for. You said those comments in spite of everything that has happened with Colin Kaepernick. You made those comments in spite of what's currently going on in our civil unrest and the social conversations that are happening. Like, you can't be that much in a bubble, being the man of your stature, of your power in that community of New Orleans. And he's like, you know, I'm not going to say I forgive him, but I'm not going to say I'm going to let this one thing define him based on what he has previously done. And here's why. It's because he's willing to make amends for it and go forward with the right direction. And he said whether it be because his stock is plummeting or whether it be because he realizes, okay, that was insensitive. Whether or not I don't change my view, but to voice it right now in spite of hearing what is being said, hearing and seeing what is going on, that is the insensitive part. And Shannon's like, you know, he can respect that. And I can too as a man. Like, I understand you may think all lives matter, but all lives are in danger right now. So I'd like you to keep that opinion to yourself right now. It's just like, if you apologize, if you say, hey, Money, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't show up on time like I promised, but I had something, and I give you that excuse. I'm not really apologizing. I'm just trying to make myself not feel bad. So if you know, what Shannon's trying to say is, you know, as a man, I understand that you have done a bunch of things in the black community and you said some stupid shit. We're not going to try to let this define who you are as a person if you don't go forward with the right foot forward for the right reason. If you can stop being insensitive and saying your opinion while disregarding others at the same time and being oblivious to that, and at the same rate expect your linemen to protect you Expect the league to the majority, because there's majority of black players in the league. Expect them to respect you.
Right, absolutely. And y'all asked me a question earlier about, someone asked me something about Colin Kaepernick. I can't remember who it was.
It was me. Do you think he'll give him a job?
I think so.
Okay, you were reluctant.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm not sure that does Colin want one?
I believe he does. He still wants a job.
Like if Colin wants a job, then I think absolutely he'll get one. But Colin at this point, is that his whole redemption story, like coming back, or does he want to say fuck y'all, like I beat y'all, and so I don't know. That's why I said I don't know, because I don't know where Colin is on it. Whatever, I will support whatever Colin wants to do. If he wants to play again, I support it. If he doesn't want to play again, I support it. But if he wants to play, someone will give him a job. Because now they fucking have to.
Yeah. Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seahawks, just came out and said, I regret not signing him. And the reason why he gave was that he thought that Colin was a starter and we had Russell.
I'm going to say something real
sign
fast.
Him. That's what he said.
I'm going to cut you off, Westcott. I'm going to say something real fast. Shut the fuck up. When it was hard to say those things, it was a lot of motherfuckers that was quiet that right now are being awfully chippy. My point is when something's popular, it's easy to do.
Absolutely.
It's not a risk to you.
Right.
It's not a risk for all these coaches to come out and say, there should definitely be more black coaches. There's only two black GMs. There's only two black GMs. There should definitely be more black GMs. You weren't saying that shit in 2017. You weren't saying that shit in 2018. You saying that shit now because it's fucking popular. And I don't want to. If that's not what you're doing, I don't want to loop you into those categories. But there are people out there, a lot of people out there. Some of these companies that I mentioned, some of these corporations, some of these people, some of these prominent people, they are only on this bandwagon now because it's easy to be.
I mean, but isn't that the definition of a bandwagoner?
Fair weather, baby.
Mm-hmm. They wasn't with us shooting in the gym. But
and a lot of them might be trying to say these popular quotes and statements now to cover up or help justify some bullshit that might come out from the past.
No doubt.
Also true.
So be wary. Be wary.
Right.
That was me then. I wasn't aware then, even though the same shit was happening then. It's easy to be a part of the popular crowd. No one likes to be left out.
No doubt. Sorry, I went on a little rant. That shit was.
I respect it, because that's like what the Seahawks coach is saying is some bullshit, and we know it. We all know it.
Well, yeah, that was the catalyst that brought that on, because Pete Carroll's very outspoken.
Because he could have easily. Why regret signing someone saying, "Oh, I regret doing something"? Do it now, motherfucker.
Right. Or if that's the case, then say the shit then. Say, right. I would love to give Colin a job, but Colin's a starter, and we got a starter. Then say that. Don't sit on your fucking hands and not say shit while the whole league and the whole owners ostracize this dude.
Right. Let it be known. No, I'm not signing him because of what he's doing.
Exactly.
I'm not signing him because he's a starter. We already have that job filled.
Exactly. Say that shit in 2017. That's all I'm saying. That's not even that big of a limb to go out on. Just say that shit.
Just say it.
Just like that.
And you're not confirming that you're agreeing with what he's doing. You're not condemning it. You're saying, I didn't go after him, or I did not go after him because of what he's doing. I didn't go after him because he's a starter.
Right. I would I would have respected that wholeheartedly. If any organization looked at Colin and said, "Hey, you know, shit, we gotta like, you're a starter and we have a starter," and if I think that starter is better than Colin, because I think Russell Wilson's better than Colin, but that's another.
How many teams ran their backups and third string quarterbacks last season?
A whole fucking lot.
Whole lot.
So you mean to tell me? Really? So y'all would have rather pay this man $100 million and just give him a fucking contract for 50 or 60?
I was hearing from my own quote unquote personal friends and colleagues, he's too much of a distraction. Oh, because he's kneeling.
Yeah.
Well,
you got that a lot. The distraction line was used a lot.
I mean, they signed Antonio Brown, bruh. A nigga who rented out a Brinks truck just to pull up the training camp. To say, pay me my money. The Patriots signed this nigga.
Hey.
The Patriots owner was in a fucking conspiracy case for sex trafficking.
He was.
Yeah, he pissed some white people off. Oh, yeah. They ain't gonna like that one.
Yo, shout out to Colin, because you.
Shout out to Colin.
I don't want to say you started this movement, but you were definitely a pioneer in what we're seeing right now. You're definitely one of the essential, quintessential voices in this whole movement. You put it, yo, my brother, you put it all on the line for this, for us. Shouts out, hats off. More.
Anybody could say he might have did this to try to revitalize his career or be relevant, whatever. All I know is that motherfucker gambled a lot to make that stance for whatever reason he did, and I'm glad he did it.
No doubt. And now, well, I know I took the rant right from Hollywood Paul tonight. I'm sorry for that, but man, that thing had touched me in just the right way, man. I had to. That passion came right out.
I felt that. I did. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
No doubt, man. I know how you feel, brother. Hey, man, but as much as we would like to stay on here and keep talking to y'all, hey, man, we got things to do. Can't stay on here all night, but we'll be back next week. We promise. Having said that, without further ado, man, West Coast J, do me a favor. Man, you got to zip them up.
You know it. So, with all of the people that are out there protesting again, be safe. Keep a mask on. You know, COVID is still out there. Don't let Mother Nature play you as well. She be trying to. As always, continue to be excellent to one another. And treat others the way you want to be treated. That's all I got.
Doubt. Inspiring words. Thank you, my brother. Hollywood Paul, man, it's your turn. Do me a favor. Zip them up.
Man, you know, I ain't got much, but just always spread love. You know, if you see something that's going on that's not right, definitely stand up and say something about it. If you are not a racist and you don't agree with racism, stand up against it. You know, and always, you know, be there for one another. And definitely pay attention to the money trail. Follow the money. Whenever something's going on in our society, follow the money. Who's sparking it off? Who's funding it? Because you don't want to get behind the wrong cause. And definitely be aware of those fair weather friends, those bandwagon people that want to jump on shit that you know they weren't speaking that same tune months ago or years ago. So just be wary of that. And as always, thank you for listening. Thank you for fucking with us. You know, we got some great things coming in the future. Hopefully we can take this to another level once we get in phase 3 and whatever other phase to come, you know. But and hopefully it's good things to come in the future. That's all I got, man.
No doubt. Definitely good things to come, man. Hey, I don't have anything too crazy, man. Once again, hey, we appreciate y'all coming to mess with us, listening to us, new listeners, old listeners. We welcome everybody, man. Hopefully we bringing it to y'all the way y'all need it, man. So if we not, or if we are, definitely jump on, let us know, share, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Let us know how we doing, man. Don't forget to email us and cop some of that gear that's out there. You know what I'm gonna say, man. shout out first responders. That COVID is definitely still out there, like West Coast Jay said. I don't care if you're out there protesting, if you're a Trump supporter. Be safe, protect yourself. I just read something a few minutes ago that the Trump administration is making rally attenders sign documents saying that if they like get sick or die or whatever from the coronavirus, that their administration and all that's not responsible. So go chew on that. Anyway, first responders, thank you. Doctors, nurses out there doing your thing, keeping people safe, working double, triple shifts, all of that stuff. I know y'all still out there doing it. We have not forgotten about y'all. It's just all of this craziness is happening. So if you out there with the movement, we love you. We appreciate you. And in the meantime, man, we're going to keep trying to get people with some new careers that's out there on social media yelling out racist shit all the time. But until next week, this has been episode 19. We're going to try to do something special for y'all for episode 20. Join us next week. Spin the block. We'll be back. Until then, you already know what I'm going to say. You ain't rocking with Defy Life. What's your life about? We out.
Best Medicine Podcast with Simba, sparking positive change in the community, having real conversations and therapy. You know that laughter's the best remedy. Got that heavy dose of humor for your hearts to heal. With mental health, it can't get any more real, yeah. Best Medicine Podcast. Laugh, love, learn. Best Medicine Podcast.
Best Med Pod, it's your man Simba Roar back in this thing one more time, bruh. Come get your weekly diagnosis. Thursday at midnight. Only on the Defy Life Podcast Network. Check us out, though.